in relation to the entrepreneurial journey, it's important to determine from the onset who constitutes your target market, because every idea or every product or service you create must be able to identify who constitutes their target market. And you need to determine the parameters that you're going to use to know what will become your target market. And conventionally, in the market segmentation process, we usually use geographic segmentation, we use psychographic segmentation, we use behavioral segmentation, or we also use demographic segmentation. Sometimes we can use them individually, or we can use them in combination so that they can give you the best results that you intend to get. But we must also appreciate that in the process of segmentation, it's important to continuously tweak your segmentation parameters and variables so that you can be able to align yourself to the changing needs, tastes, and preferences of the consumers that you hope to address with your idea, with your product, or with your service in the market space in which you are operating or which you hope to be operating. So when it comes to evaluation of the market segment in which you're going to be operating as an entrepreneur or as an organization or an individual, we can use various parameters. But it's important from the onset to know that you need to understand and appreciate and ask yourself the question, is the market segment profitable? Because the profitability of the market segment determines your ability to sustain your operations in that segment. Then you need to ask yourself, is the market segment identifiable? Because you need to almost be able to place a finger on that particular market segment in order for you to be able to identify it. Sometimes it's easy to identify based on parameters such as age or even education, but sometimes it can be a challenge based on the parameters that you intend to use. Then you also need to ask yourself, is the market segment measurable? And measurability here would be looked at from the aspect of its profitability, from the aspect of the market share you can command, or even from the profits that you can raise from that particular market share. Then you also need to ask yourself, is the market segment quantifiable? And quantifiability here means, can you be able to quantify it in numerical terms so that you can be able to say whether it will be able to sustain your operations as an individual, an entrepreneur, or even an organization. When it comes to selecting your target market, you can decide as an organization or an entrepreneur to use customer advisory boards, or you can decide to use focus groups. The reason why you use customer advisory boards is for the purpose of being able to understand the feelings, the attitudes, and the motivations of the consumers. And the focus groups can also be able to give you a gist or a direction in relation to the needs and the wants of the consumers. So it's very important as a marketer, it's very important as an entrepreneur to be able to know the parameters they are going to use for you to be able to end up with the ideal or the right target market that you're going to be selling your products or services into. So the key considerations in the customer journey mapping is to be able to understand the challenges and the pain points of your consumers, be able to empathize with these particular consumers, be able to understand the problems they are going through, be able to also interrogate and look at the products and services already existing in the market so that you can be able to identify the gaps that are already existing, because your product or service or the idea you decide to come up with must be able to address the gaps that are actually not being addressed by the existing products or services. So it's integral that as an entrepreneur and a marketer, your journey mapping should be cognizant of the problems, the challenges, and the pain points, the already existing products or services in the market, and then the solutions that you can actually be able to come up with that could be able to address the pain points and the challenges and the problems in cognizance of the gaps that have not been addressed by the products or services already existing.